Hi, everybody. We're doing Q9. I keep making errors, so I think I'm going to be a little more careful with my notation. And we're doing Q9, which is adding and subtracting functions. And let's see if I can get it right this time. We're talking about f of x. My pen will work this time too. F of x, f plus g of x is the same as f of x plus g of x. I prefer to write it in this notation because then I'm really just substituting in what f of x represents, which is this polynomial, 2x squared minus 2, and I'm adding this one, the 2x squared. And when you add those together, you get 4x squared minus 2. The other problem I was having is that when I wrote it down here and I went to put the answer in, I was covering up the answer. So I'm going to write it up here. I have 4x squared minus 2. All I did was add the like terms together, and I have my sum, which is f plus g of x. There it goes again. Maybe that was the problem. There. Gotta keep double checking everything because I kept making errors before for some reason. All right, so we're talking about f of x, which is 3x, and we're subtracting g of x. When you subtract, you have to distribute to both parts. This is 3x squared minus 3. And this is f of x minus g of x. So we have negative 3x squared. We have to distribute this negative to both parts. And it's really easy to make a mistake, I can promise. You get a 3x that's being added, and then we get a plus 3 at the end. Just be careful to make sure that you distribute to both parts so that you're changing the sign of both parts of your g of x. Okay, so we're adding these together. And when we add the like term parts, the x squared parts together. And there's no sign changes. So I'm talking about negative x squared plus 3x when I add those two like terms together. Negative x squared. My negative keeps getting covered up. Maybe that's what I was having trouble with before. So I'd swear I put the right answer and then it would be wrong. All right, now we have minus x plus 3, but then we're subtracting g of x. So all we're doing is taking this and adding it to the negative g of x. So I'm going to end up with negative 3x squared minus x plus 3. So the only sign change we did is right there. Yeah, it looks like I was just having errors with my pen. All right, this time we're going to take this polynomial function, which is a monomial. That's what that's called when it has a single value. It's also called a quadratic because it has a squared term in it. And we're subtracting g of x, which means I need to change the sign and add. So I'm taking negative 3x squared, and then I'm adding 2x minus 5 because I'm adding the opposite. If I change both these signs, I end up with negative 3x squared plus 2x, but then it's a minus 5. You need to remember to change both terms. I'll write this out a little better next time. This one's just a sum, so we're just talking about 6x plus 4. We're just adding them together. Now we're subtracting, so we have to change the sign of this guy. So negative g of x, which is what we're doing, f of x minus g of x, is really positive x squared. And when we add those together now, f minus g of x is the same as f of x plus negative g of x. So that's why I changed that sign. That gives me negative x squared plus 7x, and I'm done. There was the problem. X squared plus 7x. I wasn't looking to make sure my negative went. All right. Now we're just adding them together. We have a negative 2x squared. Then we have a minus 4x. And then we're adding the like terms. The 5 and the 2 gives us 7. There it is. Just adding like terms together. We add those two terms together and those two terms together. We get minus 6x plus 4. This time we're going to change the sign of both my g of x terms. So I'm going to put a little negative on there, and equals negative x squared plus 3x. And one thing I don't want to do is I don't want to write things that aren't true. And since I'm changing the sign, I need to cross this out, because negative g of x is equal to this over here, not what was there before. It seems technical. It seems like I'm being very picky, but there's a reason. You don't want to write things that aren't true. Now we're just going to add together these two terms. I'm going to take f of x and add my negative g of x. That's going to give us negative 3x squared minus 2x. Again, we have to change the sign of the g of x. So I end up with negative 5x minus 2. I change the sign and add. I get negative 9x. I'm not going to write it. I'm just going to type it in, 9x plus 4. I just added the 6 and the negative 2 together. Now I'm going to add them together. So I just have x squared plus 4x plus 1. That's all. All I did was add the like terms together. This time we're adding together. So we have a negative 3x squared. You'll notice that they're not lined up. The 9x and the negative x aren't in line with one another, but you still have to add the like terms. That's plus 8x plus 4. There we go. Just adding like terms. Now we have to change the sign of the g of x to negative. So that's going to be negative 2x minus 3. And then we add the like terms together. So we end up with x plus 3. See what I did? I added the 3x with the negative 2x and the 6 with the minus 3. We're adding together again. That's just x squared plus 2x minus 2. The only one that I had a change in is that guy right there. I had a minus 2 right there that I had to like terms. Looks like we're getting there. All right, we're just adding like terms. We have a minus x squared, and then we have a 3x plus 4. Adding like terms, that's a minus 5x squared. I don't think it matters what order you write these. Oh, no, it's not. Dang. I almost made an error there. Look at that. That's a minus 3x, isn't it? I'm going to add it to the 4x. Sorry, guys. I'm going to write it in descending order. That's minus 2x squared. Now I have a plus x, and then I have a plus 1. in general, I think we always want to write it in what we call descending order. So you start with the largest powers and work your way down. Let's take a look at some more here. So now we're subtracting, so we have to change the sign of the g of x to negative x squared minus 2x. Notice I changed the sign of both terms and crossed out the old one so I don't get confused. I have negative x squared, and I have a minus 4x and a minus 2x, which is minus, I said minus 6x, and then we have a plus 3. And we have to change the sign of the g of x again. That's going to give us positive x squared minus 8x. And I am crossing out the old one because I'm really talking about negative g of x. And then I'm going to add the like terms, and look what happens. The x squareds cancel each other out. I have a minus 6x and minus 1. And that's it. Oh, it looks like we're on our last one. We're just going to add our like terms. We have 2x squared minus x squared, which is x squared, and 8x plus 1. Okay, guys, pretty easy, as long as you don't are careful with your negatives and put everything in. And I hope you guys do yours and get all the way to 100%. Bye.